Hey there. I wanted to talk about, how you can avoid scams, right? Scams usually involve, losing money, and there's really a sure way that you can make sure that you minimize your risk, and the effect of scams because they're running rampant, okay? And here's what I found as I have become an avid investor. Um, And so this is going to be talking about the investment aspect. What typically happens with scams is that one or two things is usually true. Either the someone you're approached with a business opportunity that says, "Hey, if you come into this business opportunity, it will help produce, some income for you." And so usually there's some sort of financial obligation that you give up front, and there's this promise of all of this money that's going to start pouring in. That's one way that people get taken by scams. Number two, the other way is a investment type scam. So you are again given it, come across information for this idea to make more money, right? Or have your money double or whatever, grow exponentially. And you're given this idea, and it's usually somebody you know. Maybe it's somebody you don't know or you run into, but usually it's someone you know, and they're coming and they're telling you, "Oh my gosh, look at what happened. I made all this money," right? And you know, you say, "Oh, well, I want to see that. I want to turn my thousand into, 10 grand. What could I do with that 10 grand?" Your mind starts going ahead and thinking of how you're going to use that money, how you're going to take that profit and take care of things. And so the way though, because the purpose of, what I'm talking about, the way that you avoid scams or that you minimize the effect of scams is simply operate with a plan, right? So I wholeheartedly stand 10 toes down in the belief that the beginning of everything you want to do financially is having a cash flow management plan, right? Wherever your cash flow comes from, you need to have a plan for it. You have certain expenses that have to be paid every month. You have certain, utilities, your housing costs, your car payments, whatever. What you have to pay. You also know that there's some things you like to do, right? They're not requirements, but you like to go hang out with your friends, or you have a hobby that you like, right? So those things all have a place, right? Or your money is allocated to those things regardless of whether you write it down or not. That's where your money is going. You like to eat out, you like to, go have some fun. You like to shop. You like to, go get pampered. All of those things you're allocating your money to. Well, included in your allocations every month, every pay period, however often you get money, should be a plan for investing. And that is where you would park money for scams. If, let's say, you get approached by something and it's unbelievable. Oh my gosh, I gave these people $100 and I was a millionaire tomorrow. I'll be a millionaire tomorrow. And someone tells you that, or they show you proof that somebody put in a certain amount of money and they reaped all of this money back. It happens all the time. I'll tell you what those are in just a minute. But you're like, well, hey, well, I got that. I could try that. Hey, go ahead, right? Put that money there, but make sure it's a part of the allocation that you have for investing, because that's kind of what you're doing. You're kind of teetering on the cusp of it, like an investment. So you just didn't necessarily, you may not have done a lot of research on it, but you just want to say, hey, let me see. Now, I don't recommend you use that as your investment strategy, but if that's how you decide to do it, make sure that it's money that was already set aside for that. That if you lose it, if you end up not tripling, doubling your money or whatever, that it doesn't stop the flow of your everyday life. It doesn't stop you from being able to still go out and get pampered, still go and eat out, still go and have some fun, still, put money into your safe bag, still, take care of your basic necessities. That's the key. Um, as I've been in the investment space, and I'll be honest with you, I have tried things that I knew were very risky and I completely lost my money. I have tried investments because I've been in a learning phase for the last several years. So I would put my money in things knowing full well I may not ever see that money again. I have tried some things that I put my money into I knew it was very risky, and I actually got the return on my money. Right? I got the return and I took profit. So I've seen both sides, but I went in with the right mindset. This is money that I've set aside for that purpose. So if that money does not return to me, right? And some of the way that we can gauge our return is how much education we have about the product, the service, the whatever we're investing in, the system, whatever you're investing in. Some of the way that you can mitigate your risk with investing is getting educated about it. But let's say you just saying, I'm gonna roll the dice and I'm gonna see what happens because they're telling me something that's unbelievable. Make sure that it's a part of your plan. You've allocated for everything you want to do in your life, everything you need to do in your life. Make sure that you keep an allocation for investing and only go by that. If they come to you and they say they need this, but you only have this much, you got to say no. No, I don't have that. Only put in what you're willing to lose. Only put in what you can walk away from knowing that, hey, if this turns into dust, if this turns into nothing, I'll be okay. My life will continue to march on. And that's really the key to avoiding scams, to not getting scammed, to not having to have your emotions ripped in shreds because someone made you this amazing promise and it turned out to be a complete lie. Because that is happening every day, day in and day out. And so I'm not mad at anybody who goes into those projects and say, hey, let me try it out. Because part of my investment journey, although I'm very much on the education piece, so I'll go learn about something, and some of the stuff because I'm in like the fintech space, and I've been learning more about that. So some of the stuff I know it's new, it's relatively new. Like, so I'll say, okay, well, let me try this out. Let me see how it works. And I know that I might just flat out lose that money, but I'm okay with it because I have a plan. I'm not spending money that I need to live on an investment that could turn to nothing. And so if it turns into something, great, that's extra. And so the key, again, have a plan, write it down, look ahead, right? Look ahead. Like if you're going to put that money in there, don't just know what's happening this week, what's happening next week, what's happening 2 more weeks after that, what's happening next month, what's happening a month after that. Always have a look ahead in your personal cash flow that says that, hey, if I dump this money in that, it's not going to be the domino that starts knocking everything else over. It's going to be okay if what this amount that I'm putting here, if it turns into nothing, is not going to start knocking over other dominoes in my life. So that's really it. That is the key. Investing is amazing. It's great. I recommend that everyone do it, right? It's, your money, your currency, I should say, it's meant to flow. So you want to keep something to the side. You want to keep a safe bag. You want to keep something that just in case something happens, we often say emergency fund. You definitely want to have that, but you want to have money that is growing and working for you. An investment is a great way to do that. It's not just financial investments. It could be investment in a business. It could be investment in an idea, an opportunity, something like that. But just don't go in and blindly dump your money and end up angry and writing off investment altogether because you jumped into a bad thing, right? Because their bad things are everywhere, and people will lie, okay, for days. They will tell you anything you need to hear to get that money out of your hand. So make sure that if they are completely lying to you, that whatever money you gave is something you can give up. It's something that won't change your life to the negative if it doesn't turn out the way they say. All right, so that's it. That's what I wanted to, just chat about really quick. Investing is amazing. You should invest, but don't do it without a plan. And your plan will literally save you from scammers, from people that are just desperate, people that are deceived, because sometimes you get approached by these things from people who are really deceived. They have been sold a bill of goods, and they're selling the bill of goods to other people because they think it's really true. So sometimes it's not that somebody's scamming you, it's somebody is not educated. And so they're telling you, yeah, jump into this, get in it, it's gonna work. And you're getting excited off their emotion because somebody pumped them up to believe a lie. And it's okay. It's okay. You live and you learn. You never lose if you're learning, right? Learning is always going to be a win, even if you had to go through something a little unpleasant sometimes. As long as you learn from it, you're good. So even if you get someone that's coming to you and is like, hey, yeah, you got to get in this, always make sure you secure yourself, secure your perimeter by having a plan first and making sure that you are looking ahead, and that plan, it creates that boundary, again, that perimeter that says that even if this don't work out, I still got my other stuff covered. I have the things I need to sustain and live and continue my life. And it doesn't cause me to become this bitter person that rails against investing because I got hurt. Because again, I'm an avid investor. I love investing. I love learning about new things, new ventures. I'm an information connoisseur. So I'm constantly looking at things because I believe in helping your money grow. And so I'm willing to, at times, try some things in the investment world that, other people might be like, nah, I wouldn't do that if they're, educated, right? But because I'm an avid investor, I'm always seeking information and learning. And if it's interesting to me, sometimes I just want to see, well, how will this go? Let me put something in there that's, won't matter at the end of the day. And let me just see what it does. Because if I get a good result, it's a learning lesson for me, and it may allow me to help someone else if I get a good result as I continue to learn about it. So invest, but invest with a plan that protects you from the scammers.